All right, all right, all right, all right, all right, all right. What's up? Hello out there to all of my tea sippers. Yes, it's about that time, honey, to grab all of your crumpets because you know what time it is. It is time to dish tea, and you're dishing tea, darlings, with Big Meach. Hey, what's going on? I just love that song, the opening song. It's a happy song, and it just tickles me, honey. So, yeah, that took me to a whole new place. So, good. I'm on fumes right now. Just to let y'all know, because y'all know I got the little donut job, honey. You know, I got to go make the donuts like everybody else. And child, I got off this morning, actually kind of late because my relief came near late, about an hour, and carrying on. So I'm on fumes. But it's all good. It's all good. If you're listening by computer at this moment, honey, and you wish to chime in on the conversation, please feel free to do so. Call in at 347-205-9183. Again, that's 347-205-9183. I'm going to start that from the top. That's 347-205-9183. I told y'all I'm on fumes, baby. I'm on fumes. Oh, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, or show ideas or topics, please feel free to email me. You can email me at bigmeach@dishingtea.com. Again, that's bigmeach@dishingtea.com. Now, we also have the Facebook page under the same name, Dishing Tea with Big Meach. On Facebook, you can also send all of your information over there. Now, I have to say this because y'all know Facebook get janky from time to time. And there are two pages that's on Facebook that says Dishing Tea with Big Meach. They're both mine. One is going to say entertainment and one will say radio station. Go under the one that says entertainment. That's the one I go to most. You can go to both, but I go to the one that says entertainment most. So, yeah, you can do everything there on the Facebook page as well. And you can also comment on today's show topics or any of the topics that we have, and you can voice your opinions and stuff over there as well. I would love to have your feedback, okay? So, yeah, that's the Facebook page. Now, we do have the .com coming soon. I keep telling y'all that. We're working on it. We have a couple of glitches with the .com and all of that. You know, wanted to look as professional as possible. So once I get it up and running to my specifications, I will let you guys know so you can get all of the latest information, who's coming, who ain't coming, you know, who I think about might be coming, and this, that, and the third, okay? So that there is that. The chat room is open, or the tea room, for those of you who are my tea sippers. Now, it's open, and I want you guys to go over there and dish your tea over there responsibly for me, please. Just remember, this is the written word, and a lot of times when we read something, we end up putting our own inflections on the words based on our own experiences. And sometimes that may not be the context in which the writer is saying their information. So don't go throwing computers at walls or cussing and fussing and wanting to crack windows and grab hammers and bullets and carrying on, honey. You know, just be mindful. I want you over there to dish your tea responsibly. It's okay to disagree. Just don't be disagreeable, because if I see that you are, I will cut you bitches for dear life. So just be mindful of that, okay? Thank you. And with that being said, let me place my disclaimer right here. This show is for mature audiences, and the language and subject matters are not appropriate for children or anyone who is not mature to handle the subject matters. Your listening discretion is advised. I'll repeat. This show is for mature audiences, and the language and subject matters are not appropriate for children or anyone who is not mature enough to handle the subject matters. Your listening discretion is advised. Now, for those of you who are new to the show, please understand I have a potty mouth and I make no excuses for it. So I want you to govern yourselves accordingly, please. If you're at work or somewhere where your volume is loud and you're really not knowing where I'm coming from, I'm going to ask that you put in your headphone sets or turn the volume down somewhere where it will be respectable, because you bitches are not going to be emailing me and telling me that it's my fault that you got X, Y, and Z on your job, on your such and such or so whatever. It ain't me, honey. Consider yourselves warned, okay? Because I'm coming out of a bag. I just don't know which one. So just know that I'm coming out of one. Okay? Especially with today's topic. Now, today's show is going to be, this is an educational show for me because I titled this show, It's My Body, and I'll tat if I want to. Okay? Now, for those of you who are into this whole big old tattooing craze or whatever, I am not one of these children, okay? I'm just not. I've seen some beautiful artistry. Now, that's the thing. I've seen some beautiful artwork, okay? But for me, I would rather see it on a painting so I can put it on my wall. I'm not one who feels though I have to put it on my body. However, this is not a judgment call. I'm here to understand it more and to find out more information about it. And so hopefully, by the end of today's show, I will be a little bit more enlightened and a little bit more open-minded so that I won't sit up there and, shake my head and do all the other stuff that most tattooers are getting from mainstream society. So today, I got two people coming on. One is the tattoo artist, okay, and the other has his own webpage. It's called covenantink.com. And on his page, he promotes, and it's going to be a little different from the way everybody else is doing tattoos or whatever, because he is providing us a space and a place for everyone who loves tattooing and has a passion for it or whatever. It's an idea for them to become their own model, for them to tell their own stories, especially if you're heavy tattooed and got a multiple of stuff. You can break down what each tattoo means and this, that, and the other, and have folks to enjoy your work, display the artistry of the person who did your work, and et cetera, et cetera. So covenantink.com is actually, when I went on there, I saw some pretty good stuff. Now, I have seen some fantastic artwork and some body work. However, it ain't for me. So, without any further ado, before I bring them in, let me say this. To all of my sponsors out there, I love you all, and I thank you. I'm going to call you all by name, and then as the show goes on, when I do commercial breaks, I'm going to do some commercials live, and I have some that are pre-recorded. We're going to be through that way. But to those, my sponsors, I want to say hello to Georgia Peach and Restaurant and Lounge down in the Underground, Atlanta. Thank you. Trade Day Management and PR Firm. Pharaoh's Treasure Box of Detroit, Michigan. Parisian Wine Productions. Echem Vidal Couture. That's my sister right there. The Big Brothers Network. The CABC, the Caribbean Boys Entertainment Network. Kissing After Dark and Swirl Films. Also have a new sponsor coming on, Above Consciousness Clothing. It's coming on board soon. So, yes, let me say hello to all of you right now and to say without you, there is no me. And I'll be introducing you to the audience a little bit later on in the show. Now, let's get into this because I've been itching, I've been twitching about today's show. So, like I said, I have one person coming on who is the founder and the creator of Covenant Ink. His name is Mr. Christopher Jones, and also his tattoo artist of Daddy Fat Tats. I mean, this is Mr. Ramses Jones. So without any further ado, let's get this thing started. Let me bring your mics up, fellas, so that we can get you talking so that the folks can hear. Now, of course, my computer is kind of slow, y'all, so y'all have to give me a little minute because my major computer is faulty and it's being serviced. So I'm still working with the slow backup model. She's an old antique girl. She's doing wonderfully, honey. Just that baby. We just up there got all into the, the new age and shit. Hey, fellas, all there?
I'm here. I'm here.
There we go. All right, we
What's
cooking
happening,
with real gas. How y'all doing? What's the tea?
Oh, I'm doing
so
just
what
fine.
would you like to know
Just
about
fine.
tattoos?
Okay, what's the tea? Tattoo. Did you? Okay, clock it. I like that. All right, fellas, let's get all off into this thing. First, Chris, let me go to you first because
Okay.
I want to give you this opportunity to explain to everyone exactly what your website is based on and exactly who you are and this, that, and other. But before you do that, let me tell the folks this. I met Chris at we were attending a book signing a few weeks ago, and he came up to me with so much fervor. And I liked his style or whatever. He was just explaining to me, oh my God, this is what I do and this, that, and the other. When he said tats, I said, really? He said, yes, and I'm promoting my business and this, that, and the other. I said, I need you for my show because you going to help me understand exactly what this is. And so as we got to talking, he said, well, let me break down the business part of it and let me bring in my tattoo artist because he can give you all the other information that you want. So we're going to do a tag team kind of thing. So that there is the background for today's show. And, Chris, I want you to go in and introduce us to coveredinink.com and introduce us to the world of Christopher Jones.
Well, the world of Christopher Jones with coveredinink.com, I've done modeling on and off for about 15 years. And, I started getting tattoos at a young age, and then I started getting more. And the more tattoos I got, I started to see that I wasn't getting certain jobs. Now, I have a lot of friends who are photographers and web designers, and they've been very helpful with me what I want to do and building portfolios, but they kept saying, well, what are you going to do with all this that you're pulling together? What are you going to do with it? So I was like, let's do a website. Now, I noticed with doing the website, when I did a little bit of research, there's no website out there that allows somebody who's heavily tattooed to tell their story. My tattoos tell a story. They tell a very detailed story of my life, of the things I've been through, of, different highs, different lows. Each one represents something. There was no platform for this. So I was like, let me create this platform. There's so many people out there who love tattoos. I mean, the beauty of it. I mean, from attorneys to judges to, people on the street. It crosses all boundaries. It crosses all age groups. It crosses all races. It goes everywhere. It's an untapped market. So I got together with a friend of mine, and we started working on the website. I wanted to push the website out there, and he told me, no, it's not ready. Let's wait. Let's do it better. If you're going to do it right. And I agreed with him.
That's
so
right.
we started accumulating. And then I started contacting different friends of mine who are models who have tattoos. It was like, tell your story for me. Share your story with me. Share your story with the world. A lot of people who are tattooed, they want people to understand why we do what we do. Personally, I want people to know what my tattoos mean. I did it for a reason. I mean, for me, they're painful. So I wanted to share it with people. So I created coveredinink.com. It started off as being a little small website, and it's grown beyond what I thought it was going to be. And it's still growing. I mean, we've been viewed in 54 countries, and the site's only been up a little over 3 months.
And 54 countries, huh?
54 countries. I track the site. I track the site daily. I spend a lot of time working on coveredinink.com, monitoring it, the highs, lows, of where the traffic is coming from, where it's going, trying to see how I can push it to be better, seeing how I can generate more pull to the website, because I want people to understand that tattoos are here. They're not going anywhere. They've been here forever. They're going to be here forever. Everyone should have at least 30. You'll have one.
Everyone should have what?
Everyone should have at least 30.
Really? Everyone should have at least 30 tattoos.
At least 30.
Is that what you just said?
That's right.
Okay.
But with
That's right.
me, it seems like the more I get, the less I have, because mine are starting to become one.
Okay,
So
right. Okay. Ooh, keep going.
I
Keep
hear a
going.
question there.
I'm going to let you have this, and I'm going to come in with my question in just a few moments.
Well, one of my tattoos represents something that's happened in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And as you know, a life is a story, and they're all linked together. Some people get very mosh posh tattoos, you know, a little this, a little that, a little this, a little that. For me personally, mine are all dragons. I have all dragons, and I have a griffin. Each one represents something that I've been through, that I've overcome, and I've accomplished. A lot of people ask me, why did I choose the dragon? And I have a very simple answer for that. A dragon can be your best friend or your worst enemy, depending on how you treat it. Will either protect you and keep you safe, or will destroy you. The choice is yours.
You didn't tell me all of that in the chair.
Okay, now, because there's a couple of things with that. First, let me go here, and I'm going to give you this question first, and Ramses, I'm going to give you the same question when I bring you in, when you talk about you as the artist who puts this all together. And that was, you said that each tattoo represents pain in your world, or for what you've overcome.
Each one represents something. I said they're painful.
Something, and it's painful.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, why is it that you chose to have the tattoo be the moniker of something that was very painful? What is that in for the body to be the canvas of such pain and such of an overcoming kind of situation?
Okay. I think you're misunderstanding when I say painful. When I say painful, what I'm saying is it hurts when I get them. Each tattoo that I have represents an important mark in my life.
Go
Hello?
ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, okay. I can barely. Hold on, give me a second. I can't hear you guys. I'm sorry.
He set the boundary for everyone behind him.
Still going. Just keep talking.
He set the boundary for everyone behind him. Each one of my tattoos has a significant something happened. Something happened in my life, and I wanted something to represent that happening. And it just so happened that mine has been tied to dragons and along the lines of the demons of the battles that I've fought. You know, I fought the battles of alcohol. I fought the battles of drugs, and I'm winning that battle at this time, and I represent that with dragon.
Now, the choice of the dragon, being that the dragon is considered to be a mythical character, what is it about the myth of the dragon, outside of you saying it can be the friend or the foe, that you chose to be the representation of your story? Outside of that, because, you know, versus, I'm putting it into perspective, a lot of religious folks may want to use crosses, they may want to use the Star of David or Mother Mary. Why did you choose the dragon, which is considered to be a mythical character?
I chose the dragon because I felt like I was a mythical character, because I am unreal. I've changed so much in my life. I've accomplished so much, and I've come so far from where I was a long time ago that it's unreal to me. I started off with a little, my first tattoo was just my name, Chris. It was supposed to be Christopher, but I couldn't take it, so it ended up being just Chris. And I swore I would never get another tattoo. And anyone who knows me today knows I have a lot more tattoos. But the dragon, because some people find it to be so ugly and so just distasteful, but then others find it to be so beautiful. And then the beauty inside, and the fact that the dragon does protect us, and it is a treasure.
Interesting. Now, I'm asking this not to be facetious, but just for clarity's sake, because the dragon is also a part of Chinese culture and a part of Asian American culture, and it's also one of the animals that they use during their celebration moments. Do you have Asian heritage or whatever? Was that one of the reasons why you gravitated towards that, or was you popular with Asian culture or whatever?
I'm good old school black and white mix, old mulatto. little chocolate, little vanilla. Daddy was black, mama was white. It was something about the strength in the dragon. When you look at a dragon, he's a muscle form, and you see how strong and how powerful they are. You know, when I was younger, I never felt that strength. I never felt that power. Now that I'm older, I feel that strength and I feel that power. If you look at the stance of a dragon, one that's got its hind legs planted firmly on the ground with its wings spread, chest out, the statue of it, the beauty of it, the poise of it, it's just breathtaking.
Okay. Now, Ramses, come on up in here because see, you're the artist. And you are the one who makes sure that the body becomes the canvas of life and becomes your canvas to display your artwork. What was your transition to go from paper or canvas to the body?
Oh, man. It started out with henna. And I had my older brother's girlfriend. She was real big on henna. And I was always drawing and things like that. And she wanted me to do a little henna design on it. That was my first taste of it. I'd have to say my second encounter with it was when I was about 16 years old, and I let my cousin give me one of those hood tattoos. She wrapped she wrapped the needle with thread, and she sterilized it over a hot flame, and then she just had at me, you know what I mean? She was just jugging me, man, for like an hour or so. And I hid that tattoo for like, I'd say a year or so from my mother. And she finally found it. I thought she was going to split me in half, man. She just looked at it and said, oh, no, I can't have you out there like that. Go get your brother's ID, boy. We're going to go get your real tattoo. So
go get your brother's ID.
Yeah, I had to go and get my older brother's ID, and we went to Waukesha because I'm born in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. That's where I'm from. And Waukesha is just like a stone's throw away. So we went to this tattoo shop in Waukesha, and it was dope, man. It was my first experience in the tattoo shop. I'm 16 and shit. I know I'm about to get a fresh tattoo. And she was there with me for the first tattoo that I ever got in the shop. And it was a really amazing experience. And when I got back, I remember it was like the dead of November or something like that. It was like 30 degrees outside. And I was the only sophomore with a tattoo, and I had a tank top on. It was cold as shit outside, but I was flossing, man. I didn't care. So it was a really great experience. Yeah. But that formulated my addiction, you know what I mean, to tattoos. Shall I go on?
You keep going because you're going right where I'm going.
All right, it's kind of like the life that chose me. You know what I mean? Like tattoos, when I continue to think about it, have always been there. You know what I mean? Have always drawn me in as an artist, and not so that I was compelled to do tattoos, but more that people had pushed me in that direction. You know, my life had pushed me in that direction, and I'd have to say when I was about 18 years old. Yeah, I was just about to graduate. I really didn't have too many prospects at the time. Shit, I just wanted to graduate, man. I wanted to get out of school. And I was a graphic designer, and I was doing flyers and different, miscellaneous things for the various people in my area. And my main patron were all the barbers and things in the area, and they were all going to the same tattooist. So imagine every day I'm getting $20 because people are like, draw me this, draw me that, draw me this, draw me that. And then eventually one of the barbers comes at me and he's like, hey, my tattooist, he wants to meet you. And so I go down and I talk to this cat, and I'm like, what's happening, man? And he's like, yeah, you're the one that's been drawing all these tattoos everybody has been coming in here to get. It was so many people coming to get these tattoos that he can, to this day, recognize my work. from a mile away. Even if my name isn't on it or they tell him that I've done it, he studied my work that much. So then he offered me a position at that time. I'm 18. He's like, "Are you interested in doing tattoos?" I'm like, "Hell yeah, I'm interested." So it went from there. I took an apprenticeship under him, and I learned a trade, and I've been tattooing ever since. That was 11 years ago. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, now let's get down into the real of it, because let me just get into all of what I consider to be craziness, because I'm just not. Please explain to me the purpose of the sleeve. Why is it that everybody has to have a sleeve? Your entire arm. Back in the day. And tattoos have come such a long way from the little Cracker Jack watercolor paste stones, honey, that we
little 25-cent joints.
Right. But
right.
And then back in the day, when folks had tattoos, if they were not in the army or in some kind of military something or another, that was to get one.
Can I correct you? Can I correct you?
Go ahead. That's what we here
for.
Tattoos
have been on royalty, man. Back in let's see, I think it was 1862. One of the princes. Let me get his damn name for you. He had a tattoo. I know Catherine the Great had a tattoo. Here it is, Edward the Seventh. Yeah, Edward the Seventh had a tattoo. So like tattoos haven't just been for sailors and haven't been just for criminals and things that they They commonly think that tattoos started there, but shit, royalty has been getting tattoos for a long time, man, as a guilty pleasure. And you see that today even, that tradition is carried on. You had a lot of rich kids and a lot of hipsters and things getting tattoos, as a symbol of rebellion for their parents and that kind of thing. So it's always, that kind of practice has always been there, you know what I mean?
Okay, now the practice have always been there, but here is where it becomes common, because most of the commoners don't know tattooing unless folks were in the military, or they have been in prison, because it was at that particular time, to my knowledge, and for what was given to me, was that it was always a test of masculinity. If you got a tat because you was man enough to stand up to the pain and this, that, and the other, blah, 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 blah. Well, and then also, tattoos were put in places where you only saw it upon invitation. Okay? Yes, I have it here, I have it there. I understand, and that's where I'm going. What is that change, and why has it become so drastic to where now we're doing full sleeves? My coworker told me today that for those who get work done on their chest and on their back, that's called a shirt. Really, a shirt? Okay.
Well, so one of the things to do full sleeves and body tatting back in the early times. Now, times have changed. It's no longer mom and our dad. It's now the new generation. The new generation is more accepting of different things. They're willing to allow people to express themselves and to be themselves. I feel it's because we no longer have to conform. We no longer have to live inside what people want us to be. Today, I'm able to be who I want to be. Now, I do have to conform to a point. I can't go out and get a bunch of tattoos on my face, because I want to work in corporate. I still need to work in corporate America. But I can get tattoos in a place where, as long as I have a long sleeve stretch on and it can cover them, I can still go into an environment and work. Now, if I choose to get the ones on my face, there are makeups out there so that I can go into an environment where I'm not shocking, or what I would say, creating a distraction in the workplace. Times have changed. People have changed. We're in a global community now. We're no longer in a small town community.
Okay. I got you, but what doesn't make sense is this. Why would you go through all of that to put a tattoo on your face, to go buy makeup to cover it up so that you can blend into corporate? help me with that, honey, because that just seems like
I have a lot of
friends.
I have a friend. He's heavily tattooed. I mean, he's got the tattoos on his. He loves his tattoos. When he's outside of work, his tattoos show. But when it's time for him to go up in that courtroom, when he goes up in that courtroom and gets in front of that judge, his tattoos are covered. He does it for that patient.
Okay.
That's the reason why he covers it up. Just like some actors and some actors and supermodels, they cover their tattoos up for certain jobs.
Okay.
I believe it's a give and a take with everything, man. I think that ultimately you always have to sacrifice something for what you love and enjoy. You know what I mean? You want to drive a Benz, you're going to have to pay the car note on it. You're going to have to pay the gas guzzlers tax they have on it. You're going to have to pay the insurance that might be higher than, you know, if you had a Hyundai or something like that. There's always a higher sacrifice for that which you love, man. So in my mind, people don't necessarily think about, you know, the pain. They don't necessarily think about the sacrifices right then and there because it is pretty impulsive. When a lot of people get tattoos, it's like a spur-of-the-moment decision for, you know, some of the clients that I have. But even for those that think about their tattoos and plan their sleeves out and that kind of thing, even pain is an afterthought for them because they already know that the shit is going to hurt and they just want their tattoos. They love them and they're willing to make that sacrifice to have them. Now, as far as why are people getting full sleeves and why are people getting these, you know, from the little small Sailor Jerry Eagles and the anchors and the little naked women and the nautical stars that you saw back in the day, and now people are getting full sleeves, it's kind of a trend type of thing. That's one reason why people get them, because they're trendy. Another reason is for bragging rights. You know, I got a friend who's got a tattoo on his shoulder. Okay, I'm going to get my shoulder and my bicep done. And now I got bragging rights. You know, I have more tattoos than anybody else I know. And the third reason and the final reason, and the most practical reason, I think, is for artistic impact. Like there's a certain impact. You know, when you're looking at the Mona Lisa, she's beautiful and she's powerful, but the painting itself is really small. It's actually about the size of a standard piece of paper. It's like 8 by 10, opposed to looking at the Sistine Chapel, you know what I mean, which is like 13 football fields put together, you know what I mean, juxtaposed on a ceiling. Like the impact of standing under all of that art right there is amazing, but it's the size of it that gives you the impact. So, you know, it's also being able to see a little fish on someone's shoulder and then send this big-ass koi diving through waves and things like that, and it covers a person's entire arm. It's the impact of that, and that's why people get bigger tattoos now, just because they have more power.
Okay. Well, let me ask this question because, wow.
I want you to know that I came on the show with the intent to convert you. I want you to get a tattoo by the end of the show.
You know what? I halfway figured that, baby. But love it. And here's the thing: I already knew that because it wouldn't. You wouldn't be the salesperson that you are, honey, if you wasn't trying to make sure that I was, you know, bought and carried. However, the only way that would happen.
I'm not a salesperson. I want you to understand that I get approached a lot of times by 15-year-olds and 16-year-olds, and I have to turn them away. I mean, as fast as I could turn a buck on some of these dudes that are already sold on getting tattoos, you know, I am concerned about my client, and if they come at me with some whack idea, then I tell them that I think they should think a little bit more on tattoos. So it's not just about me turning a profit, man. Honestly, I think you should get a tattoo because you can rationalize all day long about why you shouldn't get one, but you won't really. It won't become a graspable. It's not an idea you can really grasp until you just are under the needle, man. You just need to get one.
No,
it's like driving a car. You know, you can take driver's ed and shit for months. But you can take driver's ed for months, right? But you don't really know what it's like to drive a car until you're sitting behind that bastard.
Until you get on that road.
The pedal under your feet. Right. So it's the same way with
Exactly.
tattoos. I mean, you can rationalize all day long why you shouldn't get one. Okay.
And that's true. However, for me, because I have a scar, I had surgery done on my stomach or whatever. If there was ever any kind of anything that said that if I were to ever consider, it would be to cover a scar. And I know folks have done that as well because they've already been scarred or whatever, and it's already a mark that they're going to live with the rest of their lives or whatever. They've decided to, well, let's make it look like something at least, you know. And I think I understand that, you know. Hell, all right. I understand the idea of, you know, those who you know, have mom and daddy, the children, you know, the homie or whoever who done passed on, that they immortalize on their body. I understand that. I got it. At least the reason behind it, I got it. What I don't get, or no, not so much I don't get it, this is what I've come to believe. Because you use the word addiction, and I really believe that a lot of folks who go in and go in and go in and go in, you know, I really believe that something in that has become addictive. It's not so much as them wanting to tat. I think there's something in it that's addictive. And with the amount of pain that I'm hearing, because I'm not experienced, I don't know what the pain of it is. But everyone tell me that there's a certain amount of pain. I'm attributing this to the S&M community. Is this a form of S&M?
I don't believe it's a form of S&M, but I do believe for me it's addictive. It's something about sitting there and taking that pain and sitting there and I'm sitting there and I'm taking it and I'm lasting through it. And it seems like each time my session gets longer and longer. My record right now is 5 hours and 20 minutes, and I had to tap out. 5 hours and 20 minutes. When in the beginning, I could barely take 30 minutes and couldn't sit still. Now, I've got a great artist. He'll sit there and have a conversation with me. He'll walk me through the pain. He'll get me through it. And it's something about the fact that I made it through the pain, and look at this beautiful piece of art that no one else has. No one else has. My piece is a one-of-a-kind piece. All my tattoos are one-of-a-kind. There are no other
Okay. Okay. Aha. Okay, there's something there. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
All right, there's an old Army motto that says, pain is weakness leaving the body. And tattoos, I tell my clients over and over again, aren't something that you get. Tattoos are something you earn. All right? And there's something gratifying about earning tattoos. You know what I'm saying? You sit there and you endure it, and when it's over, you have a beautiful piece of art that lasts, you know, and it'll be there as long as you're there. It's not like something you can get taken away from you. You know, you can't lose it in a fire. You can't get it stolen from you. It's there. And it's a milestone from that moment when you endured that pain for that amount of time.
See, one of the things that Randy's pointed out a couple of times. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
One of the things that Ramsey has said a couple of times is the fact that he will turn away. That's one of the things that I respect about him. When you walk into his shop, there is no hanger with the what I call cookie cutter tattoos. They're not there. Ramsey's is an artist who does the artwork. He is a true tattoo artist, and I respect him for that. And that's the reason why he's my tattoo artist.
Okay. Now explain that, because I know where you're going, but break that down a little bit, because I've gone into a couple of tattoo parlors, and I see all the books and the this and the that, and I want this one right there, and I see all this stuff on the wall of former clients and this, that, and the third, blah blah blah. Break that down to where he is a true artist.
Okay. Now, when I met Ramsey, I met him as being one of my featured tattoo artists and featured models on my website for CoveredInInk.com, because he's heavily tattooed and because he was referred to me by the First Lady of Covered in Ink, Megan. When we initially met, I sat there and I was looking through his book. I was looking through his pictures of his work. Now, he didn't come at me with a bunch of drawings and artwork of other people of tattoos that he can do. He brought his pictures of tattoos that he's done. He showed me, this is what I am. This is what I do. And he had these dragons, all this scale work, and they just had all this detail. And I was like, I went from wanting him on my website to wanting him to do my tattoo. Now, I already had a tattoo artist that was working on me currently. He had just finished my back piece. I had plans on doing a sleeve with another artist. But when I saw Ramsey's work, it was like, wow, I've got to leave this one to go to this one. And the attraction was just there. And then when he told me there are tattoos that he just won't do, when he told me he would turn down Ramsey told me he would turn down $1, I was like, wait a minute, did this man just say he's gonna turn down some money? Because he didn't like the artwork. I can respect that because he respects what he does. He has a love for the art. And if you go on coveredinink.com, you can see a lot of his work. I mean, a lot of his work. Or come to the event on the 13th, and you'll see him giving tattoos that day. The man is no joke. He gets in there, he gets the job done. He's professional. I mean, it's amazing, and he's so young.
Well, thanks. Thanks.
Okay. Okay. Well, that there. All right. So what I'm loving is that you respect your craft enough because, see, here's the thing, and I don't know what's true with this. I know I'm hearing stories about this. I've seen pictures that I think that they've actually taken an ink pen and drawn on these babies and carrying on, but just the thought of that just fucks my mind. And that is the idea that because I got my little shorty or my little child with me, and because daddy or mama getting a tattoo, they want the child to have one too. And as an artist, Ramses, what is that for you when you have people that come up, you know, number one, either something that's completely outrageous that they have no idea about, you know, they've not researched the look or the work or whatever, or two, if they're underage, you know, what are the legal ramifications that you must adhere to, you know, of all of that. What is that for you as an artist business-wise?
I think this is going to sound hypocritical, but I tell 16-year-olds, 15-year-olds to kick rocks. I tell them to think about it. You know, take the next 2 years to think about what you really want and be solid on that idea. Don't just get some shit that's cool for now. You're going to be 72 years old trying to explain why you got, you know, boo-boo's baby, you know, in Old English letters across your neck. You know, you don't want to do that shit. You know what I mean? Everybody wants to be Wiz Khalifa. Everybody and there's nothing wrong with these artists that have these tattoos on their face and shit, but they're artists though, and they are making their money and they're self-made men. They're to a point in their life now where they don't have to go and work a job. You know, they don't have to. They probably have good retirement plans anyway, just in case they want to get out of the industry. These cats that are 16 years old getting these tattoos, they still have to work a job. Somewhere, somehow, they're going to have to punch somebody's clock. So I always encourage them to be thoughtful and to be educated about the designs that they get. And I've learned to assert myself without being overbearing about it. You know, if a person comes in and says they want a koi fish, I say, well, you know that means, you know, wealth and prosperity in this culture, and that also means, you know, the fish is also a symbol of Jesus, depending on what part of the world you're from. So I just start running down to them the history of the symbols they want to get sometimes, and sometimes I'm educated by the symbols and the things that they get.
Okay, now let's go. Okay, that's the big one right there, this whole job factor. I can appreciate those who know how to wear long sleeves and this, that, and the other, who know how to cover up and still know how to maintain a professional image because they know they have to be professional when they're outside of home. But what about
Right.
those who, you know, Pookie or Raquisha or whatever that is, they come up, there where they ain't working nowhere. You know this. They come up in here with burgundy hair and shit and rainbow color hair, stacking cigars or whatever. You know they're not working nowhere. And I'm just being real because I'm telling you, we all know these bitches and these suckers ain't working nowhere. What do you do with that?
Can I address that?
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
Take it.
Okay, with them, there's a lot more to work on than just that tattoo. The way that they speak, the way that they carry themselves, the way that they respect themselves, the way that they respect others, all of those issues need to be addressed. Once all of those issues are addressed, the tattoo is a minor thing. They can have any tattoo anywhere they want to, anytime they want to. And if they respect themselves and they want that paycheck, they're going to do what they need to do for that paycheck. So that if that means they need to cover that tattoo up to go to work, they're going to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning, apply the makeup, and get it on to work. Now, for Pookie and for Shaquita, if Shaquita got red hair, she's not going to be working on Wall Street in the first place. So it's the mind. For me, it's the mindset. It's the mindset. I see so many people who have these with more tattoos than I do, big lavish tattoos across their backs, shoulders, and arms, and you would never know it until you see them outside of the work environment. When I'm at work in a corporate setting, I wear a suit and tie. I wear no earrings, none. I talk in a different manner. When I'm out with my friends, 9 times out of 10, you're going to see me in a wife beater and some sweatpants. Because that's me. That's how I'm comfortable. I'm not going to work to be comfortable. I'm going to work to earn my money.
Okay. All right. So what I'm hearing, and I'm appreciating this from a responsible tattooist, and I'm saying that because, as we all know, there's different levels of this, and there's folks who are out there who just want to make the money. They don't give a damn. As long as you're paying me this $150 for this tat or whatever, I'm good. But what I'm hearing is that you are appreciating your business and your brand, so where not only are you educating folks, but you're also making sure that they're respecting themselves when it comes to you and your work. And I can appreciate that. Here's the thing that I want to know, how do you address? And that is, now you just said something earlier about how a 16-year-old may think that this particular design is hot because it's right now, and you're going to be 72 years old one day. What about those who are heavily tatted, when your skin starts to stretch and you start to get older? What do you do? Because here's the thing. I was 8, 9, 10 years old, and I remember seeing this old 54, 55-year-old white guy who had got his tattoo on his left forearm. It was a naked woman, bikini-clad woman, big titties, big ass. And at one point in time, it was colored. But he's 54. Been in the sun, skin is wrinkled. That damn tattoo looked like a hot mess. The color was running everywhere. And he was proud of it because he said he did it when he was 17 and in the Navy. And ever since then, I said, hell to the no, I will never get one because I have to get old one day. And I do not want what was once beautiful looking like all scraggly or whatever. How did you address that?
Get it touched up.
Yes. Let me ask you a question.
Get it touched
as
up.
you get older and you start hitting your 90s and your 100s and your teeth start to go bad, what you gonna do about it? You're gonna get it fixed. You're gonna get it taken care of. You're gonna take care of it. If you love what you have, you're going to take care of it. When I get a tattoo, I don't go swimming. I don't go swimming right after I get the tattoo because I know what it's gonna do. When I first get a tattoo, I don't leave it exposed to the sun for long periods of time because I know what it's going to do. I'm going to take care of it. Now, I know right now I'm in pretty good shape. The body's holding it together, but I'm only 35 years old. Now, 40 now, I'm going to be 75. Shit going to start. It's going to start to drop. But I'm vain. I'm going to get this shit nipped. I'm going to get it tucked. And I'll call Ramsey and like, Ramsey, we need to do some touch-up.
There you go.
Okay.
Everything
so
takes a little bit of maintenance. I mean, you know, tattoos are really low maintenance if you take care of them. It's not a lot that you need to do. But I think that you do need to realize that over time, you know, the lines aren't as crispy, the color isn't as vibrant, and it's time to get it touched up. However, you might, just like a spouse, just like some old broken into tennis shoes or a sweater or something you refuse to get rid of, you enjoy it. You end up finding an appreciation for the fact that it is some faded glory, that it is something that you know, have grown to love over time, and it's grown with you. And that's just how it grew, and you love it for that.
Interesting. But see, now that satisfied me for someone who has maybe one or two, and they still got skin and they can nip and tuck. But what about those who have multiples? They are everywhere. They don't stop counting them. They have no more skin. Everything is wrinkled. How do they touch that up? Or has
it's your incentive,
or has there been a thought?
Healthy. I think it's your incentive to stay healthy and stay fit too, man. I mean, you don't want your body to go to hell if your body is a work of art, literally. You want to continue to make it.
Now we're talking in a perfect world. We are talking in a perfect world.
Look at how many senior citizens today stay in shape, who are more athletic than some of our 19 and 20 years old. I have seen some men and women in their 60s who I would kill to have their bodies.
Okay, now wait a minute. Press pause, baby, because they're in their 60s now. You're 35 now with all these tats now. The 19-year-old that's not as active as that 60-year-old now ain't going to be as active as that 60-year-old is now. Yes, so we see what it is, but is that part of your educational process when you're working on someone, you know, to tell them, okay, you know, over time, just like you just said, if you're going to be a body of a walking billboard of artwork, you need to maintain this. You need to get in the gym. You need to do this. Is that something that you teach or create or what? Because, yes, senior citizens now are doing that, but those who are getting tatted now are not the senior citizens in those numbers like that that's keeping their bodies up. These are the fuckers that still eat McDonald's and you know, Burger King and Wendy's and all of that, and think that because they're cool that they're not going to get old yet. So what is that mindset?
It's an afterthought. I believe it's an afterthought.
Working with Ramsey has taught me more about my tattoo care. Staying on me about, you know, did I apply my ointment? You know, he's gotten on me. He's got on me about, you know, did I apply my ointment? He saw me scratching, and I knew I should have been patting. I knew I shouldn't have touched it because I had, you know, it was still fresh. But you know, he didn't come at me like he was chastising like I was a child. He was like, you know, he educated me.
Mm-hmm.
And that's because he has a love for his craft.
Mm-hmm.
Now the average tattoo artist, they don't care, but I don't deal with average tattoo artists.
Okay, and now see that's where the mind frame. Take yourself, Ramses, as the artist, because I'm digging you for your brand, for your branding, and
What do you like about my branding, if I can ask?
What I'm digging about it is from everything that Chris is saying, your branding is something of integrity, and that everybody who has their convictions with their tats, you know, for the naysayers like us who may not subscribe to the culture, we're able to appreciate someone who's able to stand by their convictions and be like, okay, yes, as you're educating or explaining, you're giving a history that's another. This goes back to the 18th century, and this is another. It means you've done your homework. You understand what your business is, and that you understand exactly where this is going. You understand the absolute drawing of it, taking it from start to finish, the aftercare, and all of that. So that there says that this is a passion for you. And as you said earlier, it more so called you versus you going to it because it drew you in. So in understanding that, that's what I'm appreciating about it, because you're able to intelligently make this into a lifestyle and intelligently sit down and to have folks to understand it without the naysayers or without it being some kind of, well, fuck you, I like it because I like it. I had somebody say that to me the other day. I work for a hotel, and I was like, okay, please tell me. He's tatted up from his neck all the way down to his damn navel. He got 2 full sleeves. I said, okay, baby, wait a minute. Okay, please tell me, what does all this mean? Well, I like what I like. I'm like, okay, that's not an answer. Okay, explain it to me, because if you answer me like that, then that's just telling me you's a fucking fool and you doing this because you want attention. Okay, so would you be able to explain it like that? Yeah, well, of course. There has to be that particular part in it, because it's a part of entertainment. Now I'm an actor, I'm a singer, and this and the other. So as an entertainer, I understand what that is, and tattooing is also a part of it. You see that on the basketball court. Hell, it's starting to look like you can't be a basketball player unless you got a full fucking shoulder. Okay, something. So that there's part of the entertainment. So that's what I'm loving about your brand as I'm learning you, is that you are able to intellectually and intelligently, explain your position and things, and that you're able to, you got answers for all the downsides of it. Well, hell, yes, we know that you're going to get old and the skin ain't going to be as tough, but you got to do touch-ups, you got to do this, you got to do that. And so in order for you to intelligently say that, says that this here is something that you have, I won't say dedicate your life to, but I will say that you have researched and done your homework on so that you could be a productive businessman. So that's what I'm loving about your brand. Now, I said all that, I had a question up in there.
Okay, what was your question?
What was that? I got to remember my question. I was going... I forgot where I was going, but anywho, let me get on here.
That's all right. Can I say a little something? Maybe this will help you remember your question.
Go ahead.
Do you drink wine at all? You drink champagne?
Yes.
Yes? Okay. Do you know what it's like to have that nice crystal champagne flute and the beautiful sound it makes when you hit it against another one and it resonates? Mm-hmm. That nice cling. Have you ever put together 2 of those wine flutes that were made out of like plastic or some cheap ass glass? Yeah, I'm going somewhere with this. I am.
I'm already there, but go ahead.
Okay. All right. I just want to say that that's the difference between artwork that's on a canvas and artwork that's on the most beautiful object ever created. That's the human body. There's nothing that quite reproduces what art looks like on the body and the way the body conveys artwork to the viewer. You know what I mean? Like the body wears it, and the color has a certain quality. When the color mixes with that natural skin tone or that melanin content or what have you, those skin tones mixing with that color and how the body wears it, you can't reproduce that, man. You can't really go back to canvas. You can't really go back to painting on board or anything like that once you've done tattoos. It's nothing like it. It has a certain quality to it.
It sounds like it has a certain high to it. What you just described to me
would get high off of it. It's definitely an adrenaline rush, and you are under Yeah, it's an extreme adrenaline rush, and when you have that adrenaline coursing through you and all these different chemicals that are going through your body to regulate itself while you're getting a tattoo, and then you come off of that and you start to feel the tattoo again. And there is a such thing as being pain-rupt, which is that plateau you reach where you don't feel the tattoo as much. It's kind of like it's like an irritating feeling. And sometimes you don't feel it at all. You're being pain-rupt right there. You just don't feel it anymore. But after a while, you taper off that high, and then you do begin to feel the tattoo for at least, I'd say, between a half an hour to 2 hours after the tattoo is done. And then you don't feel it. It's just tender to the touch. That's it.
Interesting. Now let me go here because the naysayers that may come about this from a religious standpoint, you defiling the temple. You know, the body is supposed to be for God, and why would you defile it? Why would you this? How do you address those people? Particularly, and I'm going to say this, because I know a lot of church folk now run up in there to get Jesus love and all that kind of stuff put on them. So how did you address the Christian naysayers that feel as though this is, quote unquote, of the devil's work because you're defiling the temple?
For me personally, I believe in the Bible it states that for me to make it to heaven, I've got to believe that God is the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. God knows who I am before I did what I did. God knows who I am and how I am before any of it. He made me. So he knew what I was going to do before I did it. He knows I love him. He knows I respect him. And he's still going to take me in.
Oh.
Ink and all.
Ink and all. Ooh. Okay, wait a minute. Wait, because that was my question. Ink. Skin cancers.
Let me go. Can I make my answer now,
please? Please address that. Address that, please.
Okay. And then I'm going to go into ink and skin cancers and all of that shit. Okay. First off, I think God has a more stronger orientation to forgive us than to condemn us. And for you to be a Christian and to believe in the mercy of the Lord, as they, commonly quote all the time, you should also realize that the Lord will forgive you for your shortcomings. If you love your tattoos, you have to know that God already created us as these mortal beings with shortcomings and such and so on. And yeah, I got tattoos, but that doesn't mean you're going to hell for your tattoos. And I don't want to get on a soapbox about it, but I believe that God wants to forgive us before he condemns us. And about these skin cancers and shit, well, we have cell phones in our pocket, and we have computers in our eyes, and we have television sets and shit that hasn't been around quite as long as tattoos have. Yeah, and these things emit radio waves that I believe it's the not the FDA, but some health organization has allowed a certain amount of these hazardous waves. They allow them to emit at a certain threshold, but if they emit too much of it, then it's unacceptable and it has to go back to the drawing board. But it's no question that these damn things are poisonous, you know what I mean? And we have power lines above our head, and nobody really talks about this shit, but oh my God, you're putting, these natural dyes under your skin, and then all of a sudden it's something taboo about it. I mean, it's just crazy, man. It doesn't sound right to me.
Natural dyes. Explain that so folks can understand, because when we think ink, just be real. Most folks think ink. They think ballpoint pen. They think, the Quail pen, honey, for the fountain pens, or this, that, and other. What is the ink? Okay, the Sharpie. What is the ink formulas that are used? How is it that how do you determine what, the type of skin that you're working with? Because everybody's skin is different. And what about those who make keloid? Because if you're using needles, some folks' skin may be too sensitive and they make keloid. How do you deal with all of those things?
Okay, well, let me first say that the ink, a good tattooist knows what his ink is made out of.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and for the most part, a standard black ink is made out of some kind of burnt wood, like a log wood, they say. It's burned, and it's charred until it's almost like charcoal, and then it's suspended in a vehicle such as distilled water and witch hazel, and it's produced through a process called cold sterilization, which I don't even want to get into, but it ensures that you don't cross-contaminate the ink and all of that shit by producing it. All right, so that's the first thing, knowing that it's made out of wood. The colors that aren't particularly organic are usually the reds, which African Americans are prone to breaking out when they have it under their skin for the most part. I mean, I'm not ashamed to say that shit. I've done a lot of tattoos, and I've had clients that have had allergic reactions, and what you have to do is you have to switch your manufacturer. Maybe they might break out to a certain manufacturer's red, but then you switch to a different red, and they're fine. They take it with no problem. But I find that black folks don't break out with blues. They don't break out with blacks. They break out with red. And
really?
As far as let me see, what were you were about to talk about? Keloids. This is a big thing. Keloids, being a hemophiliac, and these medical conditions that you have when you come in. Maybe you're a diabetic or something like that. Hey, that's about being a responsible adult right there. You have to know your body, and you have to tell me, as a tattooist, what your conditions are before you come in, and that's what that damn form is about. When you go into a tattoo shop, if they're a respectable tattoo shop, they have a release form where you have to sign at the bottom, and it has your ID on it and all of that stuff. If you read that form, it'll say, okay, if you have AIDS, if you keloid, if you're prone to bleeding excessively, blah blah blah. You have to let the tattooist know this, because it's the responsible thing to do. And you have to know it for yourself. Hell, you need to know if you're walking around with AIDS or if you're prone to keloid, if someone puts a sharp object under your skin. I mean, shit, you have to know this. This is up to you.
I've gotten tattoos while I've been drunk in the past. I don't think Ramsey would do a tattoo on me while I was drunk.
No.
Well, again, that's being responsible, because if it's already an act of passion, when folks get it and they get that boost of testosterone or that hit of courage at the time, and that's what it is sober. A drunk motherfucker, hello, was probably the stuff that want the world, and then we end up regretting something later, and then there's a whole psychological aspect of that. At least that's what I'm hearing. Ramsey, take it.
Oh, well, as far as why people get a tattoo at that moment? What's the question?
No, as far as the whole idea of someone coming in drunk, Chris was saying he's gotten tats while he was drunk before, and does not believe that you would do it while a person is under the influence. And so that's what I'm saying. If it's already a position of passion once a person is in there, and do it once they get their hit of courage while they're in there. Someone who is drunk, I'm sure, will end up making decisions that are probably unhealthy or not wise at the time, and then end up going through those particular situations, and then end up having to deal with the whole psychological aspect later.
Well, that right there answers the question why you shouldn't get them while you're drunk. And also, it thins out your blood, so you may bleed really profusely. I mean, it's something you don't want to do. It's not something good you want to do. Now, I'll be honest with you. If you want to get high out your mind, I think it's fine. If you want to smoke, man, that's what you want to do it. You know what I mean? But drinking is something that I really discourage a lot of people doing before they get tattoos. One reason is because there are state laws that prohibit tattooists from tattooing people under the influence of alcohol for that very reason. They bleed a lot. And I've seen tattooists that have. I haven't tattooed anyone that was inebriated, but I did witness one time a person who was, and then I learned, that's why you don't tattoo a drunk person right there, because drunk people are animated as shit. You don't want to be tattooing somebody and they can't sit still, and no matter how many times you tell them, man, sit still. You know what I mean, man, sit still. Hey, this portrait of your mother is going to look like Obama when it's done. You keep moving. You know what I mean? You can't tell a drunk person that because they don't want to sit still. And then she vomited too, I think. It was just a weird night, man. She was drunk, really drunk, but that's, again.
I'm a recovering alcoholic, and I used to drink to excess every day. I mean, every day. And I've gotten tatted drunk. And I remember throwing up. I remember the actual tattoo artist saying, I can't deal with you. You got to be the last one of the day. Because he knew I was going to act up. Because he knew I was going to come in there drunk. But he didn't respect his craft. He still tatted me while I was drunk. And I didn't sit still. And that's why some of those tattoos now need to be fixed.
Okay. Now let's go here and let's go where a lot of folks want to know, and that is pricing. How does one determine the price of a tattoo? How, the little bitty old cutesy little butterfly to this grandiose, griffin that's snaking and coiling around a body, and I've seen something like that. How does you as a businessman, what denotes the pricing of your tattoos, and how did you tell folks to govern themselves accordingly, price-wise?
I price by the body part. If you want to get your shoulder done, it's between, $100 and $500, depending on the complexity of the piece. Color is on me, but that's just something I do. I let them have color. If they want color, cool. You can have color. You can have keys on that. A half sleeve from shoulder to elbow, that's another price range. And then if you want a full sleeve, that's another price range or price package. The arm the leg opposed to the arm is a bit more because it's typically more area to cover. But that simplifies things for me, and it also makes it a lot easier to comprehend for the average client when I just say, what do you want done? You want your shoulder? You want your arm? You want your whole back? And as far as sessions, if you want a big piece of work, you want something that's going to take multiple sessions, then you pay me for the session. We're going to knock out the outline this time, pay me for the outline. Come back, pay me for some shading, pay me for some color, and then eventually it'll be paid off. Now, as far as pricing, and I'd like to say this, don't argue with your tattooist. Don't come in trying to haggle and trying to get a line of credit and you've never, paid this tattooist before. Why don't you try paying him and appreciating his work first and then talk about deals after you've, spent $300, $400, even $500 with this man or woman? I think that you should look at tattoos like a cure for every disease you could possibly think of for life. How much would you pay for it?
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like I get this all the time, and it just never makes sense to me. And I think a lot of tattooists are really going to celebrate me for this. You get the client in there that has a nice fat ass pinky ring or something, and he's got like at least $1,000, $5,000 worth of jewelry on him. He's wearing some Air Jordan tennis shoes, and he pulled up in a nice ass ride. And that's all going to go to hell in the next couple of months, and he'll have to buy some more. But he's sitting here trying to undercut you for the cost of a tattoo that's going to last him forever. Like, why do it?
Okay.
Pay the artist what they're worth. Pay the artist what they're worth, and then that will make sure that the artist is happy and they're going to do the best job they can. It's really that simple.
Because you are getting what you paid for.
You know what? Yeah. And okay. When you said that, I'm going to hotghettomess.com, and I've seen some work where we got misspellings. You know, folks don't know how to spell, and it's not like they're trying to be cute with the spelling. Like, okay, you're going to spell fat, P-H-A-T versus an F. It ain't that kind of cute misspelling. It is, you know, folks think that they're smart, and then they end up misspelling the word, you know. What the one that just unnerves me is there's a girl, and the way how she has the tat, it is above any kind of neckline on the shirt. You know, if she were to wear a scoop neckline or whatever, the shirt won't cover it unless she has on a turtleneck or a button-down shirt. And she got a dick that's facing her
with
mouth.
With the hair
with it squirting, and it says dick sucker up under it. I said, this bitch ain't got no job. She ain't got no job. Unless she on the pole somewhere.
She could be a porn star.
Okay, whatever. She even still, she ain't got no damn job. Okay,
she's definitely
when I look at that, and things of that nature, when you say you get what you pay for, you know, some when I see stuff like that, those are the kinds of things where we talk about freedom of expression. I could be me, I could be this, and as a gay man, honey, I could appreciate the effort because okay. You know, I understand where you're coming from, sister. I feel you on that. But at the same time, why? That's just one of those things. It's just too. I'm not. I don't even know how to put it into words outside of just saying. I guess people and their choices. I guess everybody just grown. They can do what the hell they want to do. But at the same time, you know, when you think about society as a whole, when you think about you know, how you are expressing yourself and your freedom to be you, and yet how you could easily offend someone else because, hell, everybody, that's not nothing that's covered. If that was in her leg or in her thigh, whatever, something, I could get it. If that was on the shoulder, I got it. If that was on her titty even, and it covered up and it was one of them special ones, I'll show the selective people. That was cute. But right there to where it's just that way, it just screams a little bit of everything. And wow.
She's not the kind of person that would be on coveredinink.com. She's not the kind of person I would have on my website because, one, her tattoo is not beauty. It's not art. The kind of people that I have on my website are people like Brandon K. He has this beautiful red ribbon with these angel wings on his back. It's a beautiful piece. I can showcase that. I want people to come to coveredinink.com, and I want them to see the beauty behind the tattoo. I don't want to show them that. They see enough of the mess walking around the streets every day. The beauty
it has a significance, though, right? That red ribbon.
Say it again.
I think that's it.
What's the significance of the red ribbon, though? There's a significance behind that. I'm sorry, man. I was saying that there's a significance behind it.
His status. It's him embracing his status with the angel wings coming out of it. And when he got that piece, you know, he's now being asked to be, you know, this figurehead for different organizations. There's also I have an artist that's on my website. His name is Greg Tico. He has a hand around his throat. And he's a musician, and he says music has him by the throat. But he is in that industry, and, you know, it's beautiful artwork. It's not some cheesy hand that's drawn on and looks a hot mess. There's beauty behind his artwork, and that's the reason why he is somebody on coveredinink.com. I want to show the beauty behind it. I want people to be able to come on the website, and they can look, and they're like, well, what is that about? And then they can read, and they can see what it's about, so they can get an understanding of what coveredinink.com is, and they get an understanding of why we do what we do. Now
Ramsey.
she's right where she needs to be on Hot Guns.
Yes, sir.
Right,
Yes,
exactly. The clientele, the differences between African American and Caucasian skins. I know we were talking about the red ink on black folks. You know, most, if you know, are having problems with the red ink or the red coloring. You know, as an artist, you know, what are some of the aesthetically differences? That the aesthetic differences that you know that you find between the clients or whatever. Is it cultural? Is it individually speaking? What is that for you?
Oh, it's definitely a cultural thing. I find that many African American clients are more prone to camaraderie and getting what their buddy is got, you know, a lot of the work. And I hate to say this, it lacks originality. Oh, Rihanna has the stars behind her ears. Can I get those twinkling stars? Can I get the same shit that Tupac has? You know, like, you know, I just see a lot of African Americans going that route, opposing to getting something completely original to their own thoughts. And I think that African Americans are very creative. Hell, some of the most creative people around. And I don't see that in the tattoos. I'm not saying that I'm being really challenged to come up with great ideas. They come, but they're very few and far in between. A sea of a lot of lettering. You know, you get a lot of letters, you get a lot of RIP tattoos, you get a lot of scriptures. And there's nothing wrong with these things, but that's what I see culturally coming from African Americans. With my Caucasian clients, I get a lot of skulls, and for some reason they're very prone to like demonic type stuff, or I don't want to say demonic, but the word is macrabe. That's the kind of art they're prone to getting. You know, the stuff that's grotesque. It's pertaining to death a lot of times, a lot of blood and guts and things like that.
Right.
But all in all, I do believe that with time, technology and producing inks will improve, and they'll be able to get even better inks that will show up on, you know, my fudgy people who have those nice, rich skin complexions. I know that that's probably a question of yours. And right now, you know, I have a beautiful red that really glows on some of my chocolate folk. But I haven't been able to find a good yellow or a good purple yet. So I'm on a search. I'm on a quest. I'm always looking for a good ink to show up on my darker people, man, because they deserve to get colors too. They want them to. Did I answer your question? Kinda.
Well, yeah. And also to take it a little further, as far as understanding the skin type, you know, we talk about the colors and stuff, but what about within our culture, Caucasians are prone to do what? Not just the type of tattoo, but as an artist, you see them. Do they bleed more? Do they, do they take color better? Or those kinds of things that says, okay, this is something that I've learned to deal with between the ethnicities.
Well, tattooing isn't like coating the side of a house with Dutch boy paint. You feel me? It's not like actual coloring of a wall. Tattooing is more like staining wood. The color of the wood will determine, the effectiveness of the stain you're going to put on there. If you got a nice dark cherry wood, you aren't about to be able to put a nice golden stain on it, you know what I mean, and get it to the full effect of that golden stain. But if you got a nice, light-colored wood and you throw a deeper tone on there, you can get a golden tone. You can get a spectrum of colors to stain that nice white wood you have on there. And that's the best way I can explain how color works on people in tattoos. They do.
Okay.
White folks take color better. They do. But technology is working for us, and eventually they're going to develop stronger inks. I am definitely working on developing a technique that will allow us to take colors better and with more vibrance, I should say.
Okay. Okay. Now, I just got my 90-second mark. We're 90 seconds left into the show. That's going to be streaming live. I told y'all, once we get started, it moves fast. Okay?
Yeah.
While we're still on streaming, if you're on the computer, in less than a minute, we're going to stop streaming on the computer, but you can catch everything in the archive. So everything that you may miss will be all in the archives if you go back and listen to it. I would say to call in now, but you probably won't make it at 347-205-9183 in order to catch the rest of it live. So if I'm you, just know that you catch it all in the archives because I got a couple more questions and you catch all of this at what I call the after show. So, let me ask this question here, and that is, in dealing with tattooing, it's very, I mentioned before that the military, folks would get tats or whatever years ago in the military. And just last week, I just had an Army recruiter who was saying that if you have tats that are visible, you will not get into the armed forces. Has that been something that you've had to consider, or did you have clients that wanted to make sure that you had to consult them about a tat or whatever because they may have had military inspirations or whatever, or do they come in already knowing, okay, I want this to go here on my shoulder so when I put a shirt on it could cover up? Have you had to deal with any kind of consultation like that?
Have I ever had to deal with someone who knew exactly where they wanted to get a piece done?
Well, more so with consulting folks if they want to go in the military or whatever and maybe not sure. Has that ever been an issue? Because like I said, the military now, they've gotten really, really strict because of the economy and stuff on their recruiting. And if you have any visible tattoos, that cannot be covered by a shirt, they will reject you immediately. So, has that ever been a problem for you? Have you ever had folks that came in and say, okay, I'm going into the military or whatever, let's make sure this is something that I can cover?
Not the military, but in corporate. I get a lot of people who are teachers. I've gotten some very professional people who definitely told me that they had a certain placement in mind for their tattoos because they didn't want them to be visible in public. But no one in the military has come to me yet and say, yeah, I need this placed above my elbows because I'm about to join the service. No one has come to me yet like that.
Okay. And then let me ask this. As a tattoo artist, what will you not do? We've talked about you being you're good at turning down money or whatever. And I say that because I don't know how he did it. I don't know what he did to do it. But I knew he had to have been high and crazy. And that was, wait a minute, hold on, because I'm going to tell you what it is. That is, there's a porn star who has a scorpion tattooed on his dick. How he did it, God, I don't want to know. Okay? Go ahead.
I recently had somebody who wanted a tattoo on their dick. And I knew before I contacted Ramsey, I knew his answer. And I contacted Ramsey, and I was like, Ramsey, would you do it? And he gave me an easy response. What was your response?
It was hell no. I'm not tattooing a man's dick. One of the reasons is because who's going to keep it hard?
Number one.
You know what I mean? you gotta stretch the skin when you're doing a tattoo, man. I'm not comfortable with doing that. I'm sorry. The closest I got to tattoo in that type of area was a man's pelvis. You know what I mean? And I was constantly asserting to myself, like, okay, man, this is for the money. You know, I am a professional here, and this is, you know what I mean? This is because I have to do it. It's my job. You know what I'm saying? And I was uncomfortable with doing it. I won't lie to you. I'm a straight man, and I just don't want to be that close to a man's pelvis. And it was something that I had to do. So I'm not tattooing a man's penis, no. And I'm not. And on the other hand, I'm not tattooing a nasty cooch either. Like, I will tattoo a cooch, but I'm not about to tattoo a stinking nasty one. No, we got to get right. It's not about to happen.
Now, me, somebody who's heavily tattooed, that's just one of them areas that's off limits. That's just not going to happen. Now, I own coveredinink.com. That's one area that's just not going to be covered. I'm sorry, Junior, he know he's safe. He know Daddy ain't playing like that.
Right. Wow.
Yeah. Somehow I knew you were gonna take it there, man.
Well, it's not so much as that, because see, that's just one area, you know, that folks talk about. But I just think that's probably the most extreme area. But, you know, what else is that you won't do? Not so much as a body part or whatever, but, you know, like you said earlier, you were saying, okay, a 16-year-old, you said that may sound hypocritical because you were 16, but you would tell them to think it out. You know, as a business professional, what is it that you won't do so that folks won't come at you wrong?
Well, by state law, I'm required to take some more training before I can tattoo the face. I don't know if a lot of people know that, but there are certain laws that, like I said, govern tattooists. It won't allow you to tattoo the face. Like, I get people sometimes, hey, I want a mole, or I want my sideburns to do this, or I want a hairline that does that. I can't do that. I'm not a cosmetic specialist like that. Those are the people, you know, those who do permanent cosmetics. Those are the ones that handle the face and are trained and also more adequately equipped to do things to the face that are permanent. Me, I'm a tattooist. Okay. I do all the other stuff except dicks and faces. But if you want to ask some more questions, like just shout out like a body part or something like that, and I'll say yes or no, if that's how you want to do it, until we cover every area you think that you want to know whether I'll do it or not.
Oh, okay. Well, no, okay. I'm going beyond just body parts because, you know, like I said, you know, as a business professional, you know, there's just certain things that folks, you know, like children, for instance. You know, what is the state law on children? Because, like you were just saying, you would turn away the 16-year-old, but, you know, there are some who may come with their parents or whatever. They say, no, I want my child to do this. You know, what is your moral responsibility to your craft?
That whether you can tattoo a minor depends from state to state.
Mhm.
So if they come in with their parents in Atlanta, the answer is no. Even with parents' permission, you can't tattoo them. But I'm not sure. I think in Las Vegas you can do it, and a couple other places out west you can do it. You know what I mean? If they come in with the parents, yeah. See, Cali, you can do it. They come in with the parents, and it's cool.
All my nieces and nephews have tattoos.
Really?
My sister has more than I do.
Well, all right. All right.
As far as hands and feet, this may be something you might want to know. The top of the hands and the top of the feet are strange areas, but the bottom of the hands and the bottom of the feet, those are the areas that a lot of tattooists refuse to do because the skin cells you lose in those areas, it's so rapid that the ink doesn't really have time to to set into the skin, man. I mean, you might have to get a touch-up within 2-3 months. So a lot of tattooists don't want to touch that area at all. They just refuse to do the bottom of hands and the bottom of feet. Or they'll give you an extensive disclaimer like, hey, man, you know, once I do this tattoo, you're going to be back here in 2-3 months because it's going to fade so fast because you lose skin cells just that fast in those areas.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Now let me ask this and explain this. The difference between a tattoo and damn it. What's the word I'm looking for? I just had it. Oh, Demetrius. A branding. The difference between a tattoo and a branding. If y'all were ever hip to the HBO series Oz, that opening credit when the guy was sitting up there getting Oz tattooed on him, but then he ended up being smoked and burned, and it looked more like a branding. What is the difference between tattooing and branding?
You want to take that one, or should I?
For me personally, I look at the difference as the tattooing is the ink being applied to the skin, and the branding is where the skin is actually being burned. Now, Ramsey being the artist, he'll be able to go into better detail.
I think as an artist or as a person within the body modification culture, they're just another form of expression. You know what I mean? It's still it's still a form of modifying the body or the appearance of the body, I should say. So branding, I find, is something that you'll find a lot of Greeks do. You know, they put the brand on there of their, you know, maybe their Sigma or Kappa or what have you. But one of the things that I found that's new is that people combine the two. So you get a brand and then you get a tattoo around the brand. So you get like this 3D effect going that's kind of nice too. So, yeah, like you can get, you know, let's say you got a letter and it's popping out of your skin. You know, you get that D branded on you and it's popping out. It's nice and raised. And then you want to come and you get some shading done around it so it looks like it's super raised. It's like 3D almost. Maybe you want to get it bursting through clouds or some flames or something like that. Maybe you want to get it smoking where it has nice smoke effects or it's radiating or some skulls. But a good artist can always find a way to incorporate the preconditions of the skin to suit the designs and the needs of his client. You know what I mean? So, like, for instance, you have that scar. There's no real major difference between the scar and the brand, with the exception of how they were applied. You know what I mean? And the fact that one is desired and the other wasn't a desired thing. But a good tattooist could design something around that scar just like he could design something around that brand. It's all in the same realm of body modification, in my mind.
Oh, well, all right. Well, it looks like I got a question. Somebody just put their hand up. I'm going to 704-281. 704-281. You're on the air. Hey, you're dishing tea with Big Meach. Caller.
I have a question. Can you hear me?
Go ahead. Yeah, I got you. Go ahead.
I don't know if you probably asked this question earlier or whatever, but for a person that has no tattoos, how do you find, because my biggest trepidation is to find a tattoo, how do you know who's a good tattoo artist? It's not like you can get references from, I don't know, like when you're a doctor, there's some board certifications that you know this doctor's good. How do you know that this tattoo artist is good?
Good question. I was going there. Go ahead. Now, take that, Rams.
For me, I look at the tattoo artist's work. Like when I met with him and I looked through his portfolio and I looked through his book, I was floored about how detailed his lines are. I mean, he did some tiny, tiny, tiny lines, and the lines were so crisp and so clean. I mean, it was amazing. So for me, I want to see something that they've already done. I want to see you, and I want to see it up close and personal.
Okay, Rams.
Did we lose?
No, he's still on. Rams, are you still there?
Yes, sir. I'm here. I'm pretty biased because I'm a tattoo artist, so I don't know if I could advise you as a tattoo artist about other tattoo artists, you know what I mean? But ultimately, look at the work. And look at, maybe you want to send a friend in there that's a little braver than you. Maybe they're a little braver than you, and they'll go and get a tattoo by a person who they think is a good tattooist, and then you can see the quality of that tattooist's work before you go under the needle.
Oh, okay. Because I mean,
that's what I find happens with a lot of my clients. Actually, when people are weary of me, or they're leery of me. They don't really know the kind of work that I put out, even after they've seen my portfolio or they've seen my paintings or something like that. They'll come in as a group, and the bravest one always goes first. And after they see how good the first one got their tattoo done, then the other ones have built up the courage to get their tattoos done. But one thing I will say, and this is something that maybe not so obvious, definitely ask to see if they have a state license. Make sure that they're, licensed by the state that they live in, because there are certain safety prerequisites that are aligned or in line that prevent bullshit artists or bullshit tattooists, even hobbyists, from becoming tattooists. Maybe they're dirty. Maybe they like to use the same needle. Maybe they never spill out their ink, or, things like that. They just aren't safe. But if you're trained or you're a trained professional, you know how to handle these kind of things. So definitely look for a license. And if you're going into a shop, ask to see their sterilizer. A sterilizer is the same thing your dentist sterilizes his equipment with. Make sure they have one of those, because the little tube that houses the needle, that thing needs to be sterilized after every use. Or if they have disposables, then they don't necessarily need one, but every shop should have a sterilizer. Just definitely peep the work area. If it looks doctor clean, if it looks like you can eat off the floor, that's a good sign as far as choosing a tattoo artist. But if it looks a little crazy, it smells like a dog in there, it doesn't look like it's been washed down, I've heard all kind of fucking stories, man. A lot of people have told me where they've gotten tattoos done, and how suspect it looked before they got it done, and their artwork reflects that. It's like, damn, dude, where'd you get that crap from? And they're like, oh, some dude did it out of his basement. He packed, he had some shit going on. He had like 40 dogs in the basement. He was tattooing. But yeah, your work looks like you got it done in the basement by a guy with 40 dogs around. You know what I mean? So definitely do your research. It's just like buying a car or anything else you have to live with, man. Do your due diligence. Make sure you know who you're dealing with as far as who will do your tattoo. I think you'll be all right.
Get your tattoo facts report.
Okay.
That's right. Actually, hey, oh, shit. You know what? Hey, Chris, this is, okay, this is the next step right here. As a matter of fact, from now on, I think you should write a consumer report on tattooists, man, like the word on the street. Can you trust this guy? Maybe you want to link up with some other people, state to state. Like, I feel like definitely a consumer report on tattooists is necessary at this point, because a lot of people are getting work done.
Yeah. A lot of people are getting abused in the tattoo shops. I mean, I've had tattoo artists who I've gone to them, and they tattooed me, one, while drunk. Two, if they were big. Now, when I go to Ramsey's, it's an experience. He can tell when he's hitting an area that's a little more sensitive, and he's having a conversation with me, and he's like, okay, 10, 5, 4, 3, and then he stops, and he moves on to something else. He's not just digging in like, let me get this shit done so I can get you out my chair.
Okay. Okay.
But
wow.
If you're trying to answer his question, if you're trying to choose your artist, one, talk to my boy Ramsey. You're gonna be very impressed. Two, check out coveredinink.com. 3, look at your friends' tattoos. Which ones you like? Find out where they went. Or save your money and pay to get it done. Don't be cheap.
That's right.
And don't be cheaping over a $30 tattoo because you're gonna have a $30 tattoo.
There you go.
If you don't have the money right then, save your money so you have it ready, and then go get it done. Because you're gonna respect that tattoo a lot more if you hold on and get it when you can.
Okay, I definitely understand that because I'm not trying to I don't want my tattooer to be insulted or angry at all when they're doing it.
You will be angry. Okay. You will be angry with him through the tattoo. I tell Ramsey all the time, I don't like you right now. I don't like you right now.
And I tell him afterwards he'll love me.
And I do.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a work in progress right now. That's, we're doing it in phases. But that's because my body takes it in phases. I have my threshold. And
okay.
I've got my artists, and I recommend my artists to everybody. Anybody you want good lines, you want good work, you want a clean environment, you want somebody who's state certified, you want somebody who's going to be there on time, you want somebody who's going to give you something that's going to stand out and be better than anybody else, you want a one-of-a-kind tattoo, come to Daddy Fat. They're going to take care of you. He's going to take care of you.
Well, all righty then.
Thank you, sir. There you go. There you have it.
Well, all right. Well, thanks, Carla. All righty then.
All right, then. Thank you.
Okay, fellas. Go ahead on and let folks know exactly where we can find you, telephone numbers, emails, websites, the event that you were talking about earlier. Blast them with all of that right now.
Okay, everybody. We at CoveredInInk.com, we have respect our conglomerate. There's 4 organizations, Daddy Fat Tats, CoveredInInk.com, Barberlawn Salon, and Number 8 Cosmetics. We are hosting our first annual tattoo raffle. The raffle will be held at 219 Mitchell Street, Atlanta, Georgia, 30303. The grand prize will be a 35-square-inch tattoo. First runner-up will receive a haircut, razor lineup, mustache, beard, and eyebrows. Second runner-up will receive full face makeup, no lashes. Ticket prices are $10. This will be in the event of all events. This is Atlanta's first annual tattoo raffle. You can buy your ticket at the location 219 Mitchell Street or at www.coveredinink. That's COVERED, the letter NINK.com.
Right,
okay, my turn. All right.
Go ahead.
If you'd like to see my work, visit crazylikthefox.com. That's www.crazylikthefox.com. You can also email me any questions, any suggestions. If you're a tattoo artist and you want to debate with me about anything that I've said, please email me at bornartiste. That's BORNR. T as in Tom, E as in Edward, E as in Edward, S as in Snake, T as in Tom @gmail.com. I can also be reached on Facebook. You want to befriend me? I am Ramesses Jones. You can spell my first name RAM.
Keep going. Oh, goodness. Yeah, we lost him. Lost him. His call just dropped. He is RAMESES Jones on Facebook. That's Ramesses Jones on Facebook. Okay? Now, to make sure y'all go there, please. And if you have any questions, comments, concerns about anything about tat work or whatever, these gentlemen here are sure to answer that particular question. If this is your culture and you want to be considered as a part of the Covered in Art covered in ink portfolio, whatever. I'm sure Chris will go to the website and you'll be able to contact him there, and you can find more information on getting with him so he can see your work and this, that, and the other. Remember, he's looking for quality work. He's looking for pieces that speak, not just the little fly-by-night little bullshits now. We're looking for.
Now, I do want everybody to understand. I'm not caring about what you look like body-wise. You could be 300 pounds. If your tattoo is beautiful, I want you. If your ink is beautiful, I want you. Come see me.
In fact, if you're 300 pounds, see, I like them big like that. Let me see what you look like with a tattoo. Shit. Okay. Anywho, that there, wow, I feel like, okay, yeah, you know, listening to you guys, I'm like, okay, we got some science up in here. We have some, you know, personal experience about the whole tattoo culture. And, yeah, okay, I can understand it a little better. You know, how folks want to, you know, symbolize and you know, embolize, you know, parts of their lives and this, that, and the other, blase. So I get it and I understand it. For those of y'all who have found this to be just a fad and really not into this, and you just doing it because all the latest rappers and stuff are doing it, I really want you to consider what your life is going to look like 40 years from now. Damn it. Okay. Because you caught up. If you caught up in the fad of it, then that means in about 10 years, you know, when you're sick of it, what you going to do? You know, that's personally, that's where I am. You know, it's cute for right now. Yes, I want Wonder Woman. I've always said if I was to ever get one, you know, it would be I want Wonder Woman on me because I am Wonder Woman. You know, that kind of thing. But that is cute right now. I know 5 years from now that thing will be on my damn nerves. You know, so. You know, so be that as it may. So make sure that you govern yourselves accordingly. If this is the culture that you're in and you're here to represent and you're absolutely certain this is what you're going to do, you've researched all and you know, taken all the precautions and know all the ramifications of it, then I say I applaud you for standing by your convictions. And I just ask you to be responsible with it and just know that not everybody's going to, you know, you already have your naysayers, I'll put it that way. You know who your naysayers are, and, you know, this here is you know, we do live in a diverse world, so it takes all of this to make it go round, and there's love for everything. And like I said, I've seen some fantastic work. I've seen some beautiful, beautiful work. It just ain't for me. So with that, baby, thank you for coming on. And thank you for doing it, honey. I told you it was gonna be simple. I told you it was gonna be simple. So with that, baby, you gonna have a blessed day. Thank you all. I'm gonna, like I said, all of your listeners who wasn't able to hear it live, we'll be able to catch them on your Facebook page. I'll post this on your Facebook page later on today, and we'll go from there. So that there, my darlings, has been that. For those of you who love me, honey, I thank you. For those of you who hate me, I ask you to go tell a friend, honey, because one way or another, wait a minute, I said that all wrong, honey. I told you I'm on fumes. Didn't I say at the beginning, if you love me, tell a friend. If you hate me, tell an enemy. But one thing is for certain, this thing will go forward and in the right direction. I was supposed to be playing commercials and everything, but as you see, we got caught up in the show today. If you have not gotten your copy of my book, I encourage you to go to facebook.com/Awake Big Meach. I am now an author, and you can catch my latest book, my first and latest, Awakenings, Epiphanies Along a Spiritual Journey. You can catch that there. There's a link to where you can read an excerpt of it, and also where you can purchase the book on PayPal, and you can also purchase it in ebook form. So I encourage you to do that. I want to say thank you again to all of my sponsors, Georgia Peach, Restaurant and Lounge, Trade Day Management and PR Firm, Pharaoh's Treasure Box of Detroit, Michigan, I'll Culture, Big Brothers Network, CABC, the Caribbean American Boys Entertainment Company, Swirl Films, Kissing After Dark, and Absolute Above Conscious Clothing. I want to thank you all for all of your love and your support. And you can finish your crumpets, honey, because the tea has been dished. And you've been dishing tea, darlings, with Big Meach. Until next time, next week, honey, we have the incomparable, the legendary, the Emotions are going to be my guest next week. We're going to catch up with them. They have a new single out, and we're going to see what's going on with that group. So I'm ecstatic, and I hope that you'll join me then. Until next time, baby, thank you. Have a beautiful day.